No problem.
Recording in progress.
Recording
Okay.
is in progress. So, my dear, for those who don't know, you are about to be introduced to the esteemed, the amazing, the absolute incredible RN of all time.
Shut up. I was gonna say, who is that? Woo!
Yes, for all that don't know, like I said, you're about to. Kelley is the reason why I went through nursing school and actually
I'm
passed
not the
through
reason
it.
you went through nursing school, but I
Well,
am the
okay,
reason that
no,
you
no, no, no,
stayed.
no. She's the reason why I completed it though, because after a semester, I was like, oh hell, I
Me
don't know
too.
about this. I know this, but I signed off for.
Right?
Hold up. And she said to me, do you remember you're like, well, next semester we're supposed to be in psych, and you're always like, psych, right? So I extended it to the next semester, and I was like, all right, all right. I did all this. It was my dream. It was my plan to be a nurse. So all right, let me try psych. I didn't
Right.
know that
Just
there was
try it.
psych nursing. Yeah. And then of course, rest is history. I did psych nursing. The first assignment I was on, and as soon as I walked onto the door, it was like angels were like, like I was supposed to be there. I had arrived, and it was my place. And
Were you at Schmick? Where were you at?
no, I was at Sutter Center for Psychiatry. Honestly, think about
Uh,
placement. 'Cause if I was at Schmick, I don't know if I'd still feel the same way.
right. Right, because I was at Schmick.
I
Okay.
you're at Sutter for a reason. It was like no, it was like not bougie, but they were for profit. They were non for profit, but they had like a really high threshold for admittance for their patients. And at the time we
Well,
also
that
had
and they had patients with insurance.
there it is, that patient with insurance, and we had Kaiser patients. So it was when Sutter had ended up like letting go of the Kaiser
Hmm.
um whatchamacallit, the Kaiser you know, when you sign the thing contract.
The
And
contract.
um
Hmm.
yeah, because Kaiser ended up having their own site stuff, so they didn't need Sutter.
Yeah.
And after that, that's when we started seeing a very different clientele.
You
Seriously,
started seeing Schmick patients.
yeah, we started getting all sorts of people in there, and I was like, "What's going on?" But it was great. It was a wonderful experience. I never looked back. I was a psych, tech, pretty much not psych tech, but I was
Hmm.
a mental health worker for almost 10 years, and then I've been doing nursing ever since. So yeah, I've been psych nursing for over 20 years now. Woo, it's a long
I
time.
know. Man,
Long damn
we've
time.
been nurses for a long time.
Okay.
Yeah, what it
I know. I was talking
is.
to a lovely nurse at my last event, and she was been a nurse for like just the last 4 years, but she started during COVID. And I was like, well,
Oh,
yeah, if I had done that, I don't know if I'd still be a nurse. I might have to let
yeah.
that out because there's a lot of nuttiness going on with that. I was like, I couldn't be bothered. But anyhow, enough about me and COVID for now. We're going to talk more about Miss Kelley and hear about
Yoo-hoo.
your nursing journey. What led you into nursing? What were some of your favorite things about it? Some of your challenges, and kind of where you are now, where you see nursing going? Because
Hmm.
you are a nurse and you're a nurse entrepreneur as well. Like we've heard from some people who are only nurses, people who are only doing an entrepreneurial now as nurses, and now you're kind of bridging both of those worlds. So, and also please let us know, what are you doing regarding your entrepreneurship, and don't be afraid to let people know how they can interact with you, interface with you, and get some of the good stuff that you are dishing out into the world to make sure that people have improved mental, physical, emotional health and wellness. So please take it away. I don't know if that was enough questions for you. Like,
Yeah, I know. I'm like, so what do I do
put
first?
them
What
all
do I
down.
say first? So, what's the first question?
Oh yeah, what got you into nursing? I
Um,
know this, so I'm excited because I've known you forever.
I think it started when I was in eighth grade. I don't know. Can you hear me? I have my earbuds in.
Yeah,
Um, I started when I was in 8th grade, and I remember I was on the bus in the city.
Yeah.
I grew up in San Francisco, right? So I was on the bus and I saw a pregnant lady. And I remember staring at her and just really wondering what was going on in her belly. Like what I was
Mm.
fascinated by it. And the school had opened up a preschool. Um, I was in I was in a Catholic school, so they opened up a preschool and they had 3 and 4 year olds, and I used to volunteer there during recess because I wanted to be close to little people, and I knew I wanted to be around little people, but it wasn't like I wanted to be around toddlers. I wanted to be around babies and
Oh,
pregnant women, and that was my way to get as close as possible. And I had decided at that point that I was going to be an OBGYN. Well, family influences later. Going through high school, I ended up um, not wanting going into college, but actually going in as a math major and a computer science major.
no, I never knew that.
Yes, I was
What?
a math. I went in as computer science major at St. Mary's,
Huh.
and because I could build computers, I can do all kinds of stuff, right? I could write programs, and hated it. I mean, I liked it, but it just wasn't. It was
No,
boring.
that's
It didn't
not
thrill
at
me.
all.
And then my second year, I said, "Oh, maybe I'll do math. I'm really good at math, so I'll be a math major." So in sophomore year, I changed to sophomore major. I mean, a math major, and I said, "I'll teach. I'll be a teacher. That'll put me close to kids, right?" And then in one of my classes, I met a couple of girls, and we were talking, and they were in the nursing program. And I said, "Oh, you guys are, in the nursing program." And they're like, "Yeah, we want to be midwives." And I was like, "What's a midwife?" And they started explaining to me what a midwife was. And like you said, the angels were like, "Ah."
Hmm?
And
Yeah, when
I
you
was
get that
like,
call,
and
yeah,
I said,
yes,
"So I don't have to be a doctor to deliver babies?"
right? Because nah, they ain't doing it.
Right. And so they were like, "No, you can be a nurse." And at that point, I was like, "I'm going to be a nurse." And so I went to the uh, admissions office, went to switch majors, and they were like, "Well, you're really far behind. You're going to be in St. Mary's for another year." And I was like, "Oh, hell no." So I graduated psychology, child development, and tried to look for a job working with kids. Ended up at Head Start. And Head Start opened up a full time program where kids could go all day for working parents and parents that went to school.
Nice.
And they sent us to a training to support breastfeeding moms. And during the video, I'm like the only one in the room crying as this baby is like walking up to the breast and attaching himself. And I turned to my boss and I said, "I'm going to quit and I'm going to go to nursing school." And so from there, I started doing my prereqs
And how
and
did that feel? Let's just stop there because you wanted to be an OBGYN, you knew this part about you. And then,
mhm,
as people who love us often do, they give their input and their advice.
right.
And we listen to those, voices from the sage, wise people.
Yeah,
Okay, so you did
let's
that
say,
once, that didn't work out.
no,
And then then you were going to do the whole Head Start thing. You're like, okay, I'll do this because something similar.
it
But
was a
it's
compromise, right?
right. And then you realize, wait a minute, though, I really need to be doing this over here. And
Yeah,
you went back to school. So, but
yeah.
what helped you to really find that belief in yourself and the courage to do that? Because you were going to be going back to school, and that meant you were also going to be making probably less money, right? Because of
Mhm,
work. Head Start is only open until, it's the times people work. So it's like early morning to like 5 or 6, right? So
right.
yeah, if you're working there and you were trying to get an 8 hour shift in, it's pretty much the same shift hours as the parents. So yeah, how did you kind of reconcile all that? And what was going on in your mind? Were you like a part of you like, oh my God, what the hell am I doing? Or was it just 100%, this is it, I'm done going for it?
I think it was just 100%. Like I compromised too long, and this, it was like a pull. Like it
Mm,
wasn't even a like I felt like I didn't have a choice. Like
Oh,
I have to do this.
yes.
And it it was so strong. It was kind of like I'm doing it come hell or high water. Like I don't care what I have to do, I'm going to do it. And I looked at nursing. I said, I really want to deliver babies. That is who I am. It almost felt like this is who I've been across many lifetimes,
Mm,
and I was coming back to it. And it was, I mean, I had looked at nursing programs, I had looked at lay midwife programs, I had looked at certified midwife programs, because there's three types of midwives. So I ended up looking at all three different types
mm,
and said, well, if I don't get into nursing school, then I'm going to do this. And if I can't get into Seattle midwifery, then I'm going to do this. So I had my three options laid out, and I went for it. And I wasn't going to let anybody tell me no, because I had been told no too many times before.
mm-hmm. You're like, and I lived the experience of following their no instead of following my yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's no bueno.
And I still got no's. I still got
I'm sorry.
no, no problem.
The tablet's not working. Remember? It was working yesterday.
Kids.
Now you know it's not
I
like
know how
I
that go.
don't know.
Right.
How many
That's what I
times did
said.
I
I
say
know.
I'm only gonna be here? It's only for like 45 minutes to an hour.
That don't matter.
No, no, because he must show me his book right now. He must.
Oh,
Yes, he made another one. So he made looks like series 2 and 3.
okay.
Yes, yes. And he told us yesterday. He said we need to find a what did he call it? We need to find a publisher lady and send these to
Uh-oh.
her so she can make these books.
You need to find a publisher lady.
Yes, we
I
need
don't
to
know what you're
find a
waiting on.
publisher lady and let her know
I
that
don't know
we
what
need to
you're
find
waiting
these
on.
books. Send them out to her right now so she can get on that. Like that's all we need to do. That might be
Right.
all we need to do. So who
That
knows?
might be.
Right? I'm not gonna put anything on it because you never know. The interesting things happen when you allow them to. So yeah. Anywho,
Right.
back to what we were saying though. So you had your plan, you had your plan, then you had your B, C, and D like options just in case
Yep.
you get a nursing
Just
school.
in case the first one
Yeah.
didn't work out.
Yes. But you did. You
Yeah.
got into nursing, but you're going to CSUS at that point, right?
I sure did.
Yes, you did. Yes. And Kelley and I met in the CPR certification class that we needed to have in order to get into nursing
To get to
school.
nursing school.
So that's
Right.
where I met her. Was like right before we started, and we ended up being in the same group. And I think she said,
Yep.
"I'm Kelley, and I'm gonna go to CSU nursing." And I was like,
Me too.
"Yeah, yeah." So
And
yeah,
everybody else in our class.
yeah. But I
Like
forget
we
about
all
those
were
people.
taking it.
I forget
Right.
about those people. I don't know those people. But yeah. So yeah,
He's so
it was.
funny.
Yeah, this is so she's been my girl from day one. Beautiful.
Day one.
Yes. I wanted you to be my birthing person so bad, but she lives
I
way too far.
know.
I'm out here in Sacramento and she was living in Pittsburgh, which is a good 2.5 hours away. So yeah.
No, it's like an hour and a half.
Oh, is it? I was it was like
Yeah.
2.5. Oh, so yeah, you're
Mm-mm. We're
closer
not
than
that
my mom.
far.
I always assume Bay Area it's like 2 hours. So
Right.
closer than my
Yeah. No, I'm
mom.
not as far as your mom. Your mom's like San Jose, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
no.
yeah. So she's way down. Yeah.
She's way far away, right? I'm in the middle, actually, of you guys.
Oh yeah,
I'm like
yeah.
right in the
You're like
middle.
the pit stop.
Yep.
Okay, that's good to know. If I ever need snacks or the bathroom, hit up
Right.
Kelley.
Let me just stop at Kelly's house real quick.
Right? So Kelley, in your journey though, through nursing school and then you went into labor and delivery.
Hmm.
Ever believe or think that maybe you should be in a different spot, or was it just like labor and delivery? You knew that that was your place, your niche.
Um, I did. At one point, I did when I got before, right before I graduated, I got my nursing degree, and I was working in telemetry. I don't know if you remember that. I was
I remember
working
that.
on the cardiac floor, well, the cardiac ICU in UC Davis, and then I went to telemetry at Sutter Memorial. And I thought, like, okay, I can do this. I can. And um, I was there for about 6 months, and my first patient died. And I was like, yeah, no, I need to just keep on going back to labor and delivery.
I need to
I
stay on
tried
this
to
side of
compromise
life.
again, and it was like, yeah, yeah, no. So I knew it just solidified what I knew. And it was a good experience, but no, I've always known, I think, since I was young, and I wanted to do that. And I felt like that was my calling.
I'm so glad you mentioned that because it's something that came up in this last event that I did this last weekend with some of the participants. It was talking about like following our own gut and believing that we do know on some
Hmm.
level what we need and what is going to propel us forward, even if it seems like it doesn't make sense to other people, right? Even if it doesn't make
Right.
sense to us, you feel it. There's some knowingness that you come to, some realization. And we talked about how that a lot of times that actually starts in your gut. People saying like the heart knows today what the head figures
Mm-mm.
out tomorrow. But before all that, yeah, your gut. You get a
It's your
gut
gut.
instinct, you get a gut
Hmm.
feeling about things, yeah. And when you pay attention to that, that's when like it's like what I call the soul urge, because you are really being guided and you're being
Yeah.
informed like, hey, this is it. Quit asking. God is telling you. So pay
Right.
attention. Hello.
Hello.
Right. You have the feeling, you have all the thoughts like, but I don't know, God. Can you just tell me? Like, what does he have to do? I mean, seriously.
Right.
Yeah. I'm just everyone is so blessed that you finally did listen to your own gut and follow it, because you're just you're the epitome of a labor and delivery nurse. You're all of
Oh,
the
thank
things.
you.
No, you guys have no idea what it's like walking with this woman onto a unit. She just exudes just calm, just peace, just love, just all of it. She will be with some of the most tumultuous and crazy patients who are going through all sorts of stuff with their babies. And I swear she puts on the hands and everything just it's like Moses in the seas. Like it's
Yeah,
really
I've been,
it's
I
magical.
think, I think in my, let's see, I started labor and delivery in 2003, and I stopped in 2021. So about 18 years, but I'm still working in maternal newborn health. But I think in all those years, I've been fired from a patient twice.
Mm, yes.
And both of which, well, one was definitely on meth. And the other one had fired every nurse she had. So she had mental ill issues. So I don't feel bad. I usually, I mean, I don't want to feel like I'm tooting my own horn,
Why
but I
not?
really
Toot it.
have.
God gave
I
it to you to
usually
toot.
can, I usually make really good connections and have good rapport with my patients. I tend to be very intuitive to what their needs are and can speak to them in a way that educates them, doesn't make them feel like they're stupid, and empowers them to make the best decisions for themselves and their babies. So,
And that's what I love the most is that statement right
yeah,
there. What's best for them and their baby, not what does a doctor say, what does
right.
their mama say, what does the grandpappy say. No, what is it that
Hmm.
you desire, and let's make that happen so that it's a benefit for you and the baby. Let's see how we can,
Right,
yeah, put that into
right.
place. Yeah, I
Hmm.
yeah, yeah. So
And it's funny, I have to give patients permission all the time. I have to tell them, they're like, well, can I take my baby outside? And I'm like, if you want to, it's your baby. You know, I can tell you what we recommend, but it's in the end, it's your baby. If you want to bury it in the snow, then go and bury it in the snow. Like, I don't, I mean, you'd probably go to jail, but I mean, that's
Right,
what you
right.
want to do. Like, I don't recommend
They're
you,
gonna come pick
bury your
your ass
baby.
up, but
Right? I mean, I'm just saying, like,
I know you.
but people will ask questions, and that was always my answer for them, and they loved it because nobody really gives them permission in the healthcare system. They kind of just tell you what you're supposed to do. You're gonna do this. You're
Yes,
gonna do that. I mean, and
yes.
you went through that yourself when your babies were going into the nursery. Like, and I had to tell you, like, no, no,
I know. She's like, but your babies are healthy. Why didn't Nick you? I said, I
right.
don't know, Kelly. I don't know.
I was getting mad.
They're
Like,
normal
put my
size.
babies in
They're
there.
normal
What's wrong
size
with
babies.
you?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
they do. They make you feel like, you're about to kill your baby if you don't listen to them. Like, oh,
Right, right.
yeah. And, most parents don't want to do that. So, yeah, yeah. They put a lot of fear and mongering regarding that, and
Yeah.
the fear of being a
Mhm.
bad parent already. And, yeah,
Mhm.
you don't want to start off like that. So you better listen to these professionals that know all the answers. And I think
Right.
that's one thing I always really appreciate about you as well in your approach was that you knew what you knew, but you allowed the patient to show up and share what they knew and share what's
Right.
going on with them. So then it could,
Mhm.
make the best, healthiest environment for both mother and baby to thrive. Um,
Right.
yeah. So what have been some of the challenges for you in nursing? Because you've also gone beyond the bedside. Not only are you no longer really working L&D right now, you you have also been in leadership, and you
Mhm.
also have right now a business that you are running. So what are some of the challenges that you found in nursing and in also being a nurse and a nurse entrepreneur?
Um, in nursing, a lot of I guess you said the challenges.
Mm.
Um, in leadership, it's always about politics and
And
you
policy.
know, and policy, right?
Yes.
And so always trying to, and even now, it's a compromise of delivering the best care within the constraints of the financial system that we have. So, dealing with insurance, dealing with non-medical entities dictating what we can and can't do
Mm-hmm.
for our patients
Mm-hmm.
and limiting our options. And I think that's, when you're in a healthcare system where you're paying for, your care, you're always going to have those frustrations, where, even now, like I'm in home health, and there's a mom that needs breastfeeding help. This baby's losing weight. Her nipples are shredded because the
Oh,
kid doesn't latch well.
oh,
And I can't go back out because she has a high co-insurance, or they will only authorize one visit. So, it's like,
are
okay,
you
so then they're
serious?
like,
And you
yeah,
can help her because you helped me. Remember, my baby wasn't latching at all,
yes.
and you helped. You're like, oh, you did that. I'm like,
Let me just come over and let me help you.
yeah,
Let me do
oh, she did, girl. She did. She had the baby's head, grabbed my titty,
it.
and popped her nipple in the baby's mouth. And I said, oh, okay, like
She
that.
said,
But
grab
now
my
I know how
titty.
to do it.
Right. But yeah, like we do lactation, and we can't go out, and they'll tell them like you can pay for that outpatient. So they make you go outpatient to pay
Wow.
for out of pocket. Yeah. And
Wow.
so it's dealing with stuff like that. Or in the hospital, of course, there may be um equipment that we can use that's up to standard, and the hospital won't pay for it because it's more expensive. So they say, well, find a cheaper option, or they'll say, this is what we've approved for you to use, even though it's not give you the quality that other products would give you. So, and then they're not willing to change unless there is,
Financial
unfortunately,
gains.
unless there's financial gain or someone gets hurt,
Yeah.
and
Oh
then there's a
no.
financial
Even
loss.
then, they might change by making some policy everybody else has to follow.
Hmm.
Yeah.
but they only change it because they lost money,
Mm-hmm.
because somebody got hurt,
Mm-hmm.
somebody,
And then they
you know, a
might get
baby or
sued or
whatever.
mm-hmm.
Yep. And
Yeah.
so that's the only time. So that's really probably one of the biggest challenges. And then of course dealing with different personalities, um, in leadership, and having to learn how to speak appropriately. You know, I did that was one of my challenges, is communicating, because I tended to be um Shantae was the first one, you guys, to point out that I was a smart ass. I had no idea at all. Um, she
You know,
pointed out that I was a smart ass, and she laughed
yeah.
like it was funny. I went home and cried because I had
Yeah.
no idea. I asked my mom, I said, Shantae said I was a smart ass. And she was like, Kelley, you didn't know? So I just, and she laughed too. She thought it was
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah.
So
Oh, this
I did.
whole time.
I had no idea. So I was wondering why I was losing friends left and right. So
That wasn't why. They just weren't worthy of you.
they weren't. You're
They
right.
weren't.
They weren't. They didn't take the time to learn what my true heart was, and you did.
No.
Um, but you know, learning how to properly communicate, not only with your coworkers, with your you know, people that are above a higher level than you, and then the people who you supervise. So really learning that was a challenge. Some people who don't go into management don't learn that, and so unfortunately, they take those poor skills into the patient's room. And so you
Mm-hmm.
have to deal, you know, you're dealing with patients and you're talking to them a certain way, and you don't really know how you come off. See that a lot in the health equity, you know, in dealing with like African American parents, which is something that I'm doing new.
Huh. What's that?
So I have been praying about what my purpose is. You know, why was I introduced into this line of work? Why? What am I doing? And recently, a lot of opportunities working with Black families in the perinatal area have come up. And so, actually, I'm attending a meeting next week about a community board meeting
Mm.
about perinatal equity in the African American
And
community.
then you wondered why you kept getting tagged for leadership roles.
Yeah. So,
Mm. Yeah.
um, yeah, I just go where I'm being led now,
Yes.
and that's where I'm being led. So, and I'm doing a training at work tomorrow about the Black Infant Health Program and the increased perinatal mortality amongst African American women and babies. So,
Wow.
for Black History Month, you
Yeah.
know,
Oh,
since
wow.
I'm since
That's
I'm
pretty
the only
awesome.
African American on staff, just saying. So,
I'm starting to say Americans with some African descent because let's be
right?
honest, it's not all African,
No, we all mixed up, girl.
right? Especially in the yeah, especially stateside. People are mixing all over the place. Oh,
Right?
yeah. It's just the most obvious one is the African one is because I'm brown. So that's
Right. My
really
hair is nappy. Well, your
right,
hair ain't
right.
nappy,
Got
but
them
my
tight
hair is
curls
nappy.
and I got brown skin. Jeez, that's about it. So yeah, yeah. But no, that is a beautiful offering that you
Yeah.
have. Yes, that is
Yeah.
wonderful. Yes, what an
Yes, I'm
amazing
excited.
opportunity for you, for your peers, for others that you're
Hmm.
working with to now have this information and also be aware of, maybe how they may have some ideas about these women before they even come onto the unit.
Right.
'Cause I know I was not treated all that cool by my nurses, but I think it was because I wanted to breastfeed my baby and he was down the hall and they said, oh, then I didn't want them to use a pacifier because I was afraid of him having nipple confusion.
Hmm.
And so they rang me. It seemed like I would go there, feed him, come back. As soon as I came back, they rang for me to go back. And it was
Hmm.
almost like they were torturing me and making me and punishing me by
Hmm.
having me walk all up and down. Like I could have stayed there longer if they would let me, but then as soon as the baby starts falling asleep or I'm falling asleep, I gotta leave. So then they would force me out. And then I get down to my room and I had to turn right back around. And I was like, the
Right.
F. And finally, it wasn't until I was reaching the nursing station, and, I was just giving birth. I was tired as AF. And reached the nursing station, and I almost fell because I got lightheaded and dizzy, and I
Oh my
almost
God.
fell. And the nurse caught me, helped me to my bed, and she talked to those ladies down in the next. She was like, "Look, this is my patient. You are not going to treat her like this." Blah blah blah
Right.
blah. Yeah,
I
and it
was just
wasn't
gonna say, this
yeah,
is
if it
not
wasn't for that
uncommon.
nurse, yeah,
This is not uncommon that we see in the treatment of African American women in the birth. You may think like, oh, they're punishing you because you didn't want a pacifier for your child, but the problem is that you are not the only one. That is a very common thing that mothers do request. And why is it? Because I've seen it myself, where women of other nationalities will say, don't give my baby a pacifier, and they respect it and they do whatever they can to calm that baby because they know that mother is tired. So why is it they felt like they needed to call you because they wanted to teach you a lesson? I wasn't there, I can't really
right, right,
say,
yeah.
but this
See,
is
I
the
was just thinking like they
perception.
didn't want me in their space, and they wanted to just give them a bottle or give them a pacifier, and I asked them not to. So I feel like I thought it was more
Right.
like, I made their night harder.
Right.
You know?
And even still though, that is not an unusual request from a
Right,
mother.
right.
And
I
I'm
wasn't
I'm
asking for
as
every yeah,
someone exactly, as someone who works in that arena, I know that is not an unusual request. So why would they purposefully
yeah. It
do
was on
that to
purpose.
you?
Yeah, because after
You
that
know,
nurse spoke to them, I didn't hear from them for like at least an
right.
hour.
Because they made it work. That's why. And they can do that and they know how to do that. And so that is the type of things that we hear from African American women all the time. Like
Really? I
that
never
there
knew
is
that.
no accommodation for them. There is no patience. Like there's no education. They ask questions and they act like we're treated like they're treated like I'm inconveniencing you by questioning you, where that attitude is not taken amongst other people. Trust me, I see it all the time.
Yeah, no, you
And
were there for over 20 years. Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
so I would see it. I would see how Black women were treated differently. I would see how Black families were treated differently. They were viewed as being annoying and in the way and being very aggressive and listen, and they're loud. Like it was an inconvenience to have them there. But then when you
Wow.
have someone else, yeah, when you have someone else that would come in and behave in the same exact way, then oh, they're so excited and look at them, and they're just so crazy and they're just really excited for them. And it was more of a positive,
Huh.
like they're happy happy for the new couple, and look, they're excited, they're boisterous, and oh, my family gets crazy like that too. But when African American families do that, it's seen as negative, and maybe we should call security, and we should have them. Yeah, it was like that, and I would just be like, they're cool. Like there's
Yeah, they're
nothing
not causing a ruckus. They're not out here trying to fight
right,
nobody or like,
you know. And then there's just an inherent mistrust in the African American community of the healthcare system. There's just an inherent
yes,
trust. So when they come in,
we're
you
already
kind of have to
guarded.
they're already guarded. So then when you come in, you have to earn their trust. It's sad, but you have to earn their trust. And if you come in and you don't treat them a certain, like if you come in and you got an attitude and they got an attitude, then they gonna really have an attitude, yeah.
But
And they
that's
gonna be like,
anyone,
see,
right? And that's what I don't understand. It's really
right,
all about remembering that we're all freaking people. We're all human. And it's just
right,
like you treat people with respect, you get respect. Period.
right,
And if you don't,
right.
then cool, deuces. I'm out your room. I'll do what I got to do. I'm not going to chit chat you, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm gone. If you're not going to be able
Right,
to live with that kind of level of just being a freaking adult, having some
right.
accountability for yourself and your actions. Like, that's what I don't understand. I'm like, there's assholes in every race and ethnicity. There's
It
assholes
sure
and
is.
weirdos in every religion in the
Ooh.
world. And then there's amazing people too. And the majority of us are in between. Sometimes I'm an asshole and sometimes I'm not. Like, that's just
I
how
have my
it
good
is.
days and my bad days. Let me tell
Okay,
you.
right. And
Right.
it's like, yeah. So that's very telling too. And I've heard this
Yeah.
before about the disparities in the healthcare regarding different ethnicities, and I've seen it
Hmm.
as well. Especially with some people that really had poor English skills. There
Yeah.
were specific groups of poor English skills. Certain other people with poor English skills, it was not an issue. And
Right.
so, and I saw that in mental health. Um,
Yeah. I was
yeah,
like, I can almost guess. So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
It
So
just depends. It depends. Hmm.
yeah, that's definitely one of the major challenges. And in leadership, I think, I'm for people, having talks and having conferences and having awareness brought up, because then people may not even know that they might have that thought, right? It's not pointing fingers and saying everyone is out there, but it's saying, hey, some people may be, and the majority of them may not
Hmm.
even realize that that's how they're coming across. That's what I
Right.
think, because I like to err on the side of, ignorance versus being evil,
Right.
and because,
Like, let me.
yeah,
No, go ahead.
no, please.
Just an example. I work in home health, and I used to be with John Muir, but our company is no longer with John Muir. But at the time when we were at John Muir, we have to have our patients sign consents. Now, I speak a little Spanish. So I tended to always, I still get a lot of Spanish speaking patients, and our consents are in English. Now, it is law that we are supposed to have legal consents available in their
In their
language,
language.
right? So when I first came on, it was like, where's the Spanish consents? And everybody would be like, well, I'm not sure. We don't have them too often. And, it was always, but by the time, I know about it, that they're Spanish speaking, is the night before. I don't have time to go to the office to pick one up. So finally, I sent a message out to one of the administrative assistants and asked her, where can I find Spanish consents? And they said, oh, we don't have them. And I said, well, we have Spanish speaking patients. Like, why don't we have them? And they said, well, we don't have enough Spanish. They felt like we didn't have enough Spanish speaking patients to, spend the money to get the consent. That's what I was told.
All they
And
needed
I
was
said,
someone to translate it and run off some copies. Are you kidding me? Stop
so I
that.
said, um, so what am I supposed to do when I'm at a home visit? Like, how am I supposed to leave them with copies of an English consent?
Right.
You know, we'll have somebody translate. My manager told me to have somebody translate it, have the translator translate it for them.
Because that's not more money paying a translator to go back and forth.
Time, and have me sit there
Right.
and read the consent and
Right.
have them
Right.
translate it
Because that's
and
cost
still have
effective.
them
Mm-hmm.
right
And that's
and still
productive
have
work
them
on your
sign
part.
it,
Like,
still have them sign the English copy and leave them with an English copy. They still
right.
can't read it.
Still can't read it.
So it's that type of stuff that it's just, people overlook the needs of someone else. And it's so frustrating to me. You know, I almost went to compliance about that, but we ended up, because that happened last year. That was all that stuff happened last year. And I was going to go to compliance and I was going to be like, you know what?
I got
You
blow the
know,
whistle on them.
I'm about to blow the whistle on y'all because
Blow
y'all
the
getting on
whistle.
my nerve. Ended up hurting myself and all that other stuff. So anyway, but yeah.
Yeah.
So what was your next? Yeah. Okay.
No, you're right. But yeah, the disparities in healthcare and
Hmm.
equity in healthcare. And it's funny because I am of two minds, because I do feel like people live here and they should know freaking English. I do. I do believe this. I'm probably going to get
Yes.
canceled now, but I believe that. Why? Because if we were in any other country in the world, we would have to know the basics of that language in order to hold a job and in order to access any kind of social uh what's more thing of social activity, or even going grocery shopping. You can't go grocery shopping in a Spanish speaking country and not know some basic Spanish. Stop it.
No, you can't.
No, you
Yeah.
cannot. And not
Mhm.
only that, but if you did that, expecting everyone to speak your language in another country, you'd be seeing the people probably look at you like you're crazy.
Right.
Yeah,
And I mean, basic is one thing,
yeah.
legal is another.
No, no,
And
no. And I understand that. Yeah,
that's
no,
why it
no, no,
should
no. And I
be
agree.
that
Yeah, yeah.
it should be available.
Especially for the,
Yeah.
it should be available just because, like you said, it's a legal document. They're signing
Yeah.
it. You want them to know what the hell they're signing. It's a
Right.
consent for things. Maybe they actually don't want it, but they don't understand what it is. So no,
Right.
but I mean, part of it is they don't know some of the basics. So
Right.
that trips them up a little bit. I'm just saying.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. They don't know some of the basics. So yeah, yeah. Anyhow, we can get off that because that can get real hot real quick. Um,
Real quick.
okay. So why don't you tell us, Val, before we wrap up and everything, what's going on with you regarding your business? Like, how is that tying into everything? Because I know you are all about healing people and helping them to maintain health, optimal health, and mentally, emotionally, physically. And you've done that in different ways. You've done that for a long time, labor and delivery. You're doing it now with maternal health. You're also
Hmm.
doing it with doing these conferences for your peers and the community, in order to inspire and to inform people about the disparities in healthcare, especially to black black women, babies, and families.
Right.
So yeah, how is what you're doing with your business helping you to do that? Like, what is that about?
So I have a couple of businesses, and one of them is definitely um, not really healthcare related. It has to do with health, nutrition, that kind of thing. And that is definitely a foundation, especially in perinatal health and, in pregnancy and in lactation, all of that, you need to have a good um, nutritional foundation to support the pregnancy, right? So learning about that part of the business is how it relates to it. But the other part of the business is evolving.
Mm,
And it has shifted from me wanting to really educate the families, communities. Then it went into, well, maybe I'll just, because of, what people tell you and all that stuff, right? So then it evolved to, well, maybe you should, teach other nurses. You're so good at what you do, and you should pass on the knowledge you have to the new generation of nurses. And now it's swinging right back. Like God is
mm,
like, no, no, this is where I wanted you to go in the first place,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So now it's um, swinging back to that kind of grassroots, getting down into the community, really making a difference. And it is evolving. And I'm just, like I said, I'm just being patient. You
Yeah.
know, um, I did write my little book, my little Amazon book. I don't know if you guys,
Yay.
it
No,
is on
please tell us
Amazon.
the Amazon book.
You didn't know about that? Hold on.
No. Yeah, you better plug it right now. And then I gotta go get one. I got my
Okay.
phone.
All right. So, I wanted to be able to educate families about what to expect when they come into labor and delivery. I felt like in my job that a lot of people just weren't aware of a lot of the different things that were happening, things that they should know, things that their um, OB providers should be explaining to them. And people don't do childbirth education classes anymore. They go to Dr. Google and YouTube and they look for information there, but it's kind of sporadic and some of it you can't trust. And so what I did was I had this brainstorm to write a book. So this is my book. It's really short, but it's called Vision of Your Birth Experience.
Yes.
And
Nurses Guide to
um,
Creating a Birth Plan.
A Nurse's Guide to Creating Your Birth Plan. And basically, what it is, it's not really, a lot of books are like, oh, let's just make a birth plan and, answer these questions. But this is really um, me giving education about what you need to really think about and educating you about the different items in a birth plan. So it's
Yeah.
more than just, um, you know, do you want, internal monitors or external monitors? Well, what does that mean? Like,
Right.
a lot of patients don't even know what that means. So they just say, I want external monitors. I don't want that type of stuff. So
Right.
this is the back, has
Oh,
my
I got the pretty
my big face on there. But this was it's a short book. I think it's let me see. I think it's only like I don't know how many pages it is. There's no page numbers. But it's probably like about 30, 40 pages. It's not that long. And it basically goes through what to expect during a labor process and what it is, and what happens if you choose this, what happens if you choose to lay in the bed. Well, you're most likely going to get an epidural because you're hurting and you're not getting up
Yeah.
and moving around, and
Yeah.
you know write down or um what happens if you choose this one doctor that delivers at this one hospital? Do you even know what this hospital does? Does this hospital support what you want from your labor? Does your doctor support what you want from your labor? You
Mm.
know, a lot of people think that OBs will just like you'll talk to them and they'll be like, oh, is that what you want? Well, that's what we do. No, a lot of them are older males that are very set in their ways, and they say this is what we're going to do, and when the baby comes out I'm going to cut you and cut the baby out. Like, that's how they think labor should be. And so a lot of them are
Virginia
getting more
crazy.
progressive. Right, a lot of them are getting more progressive. Those like when I started, a lot of those doctors are retiring, thank God. So a lot of them are being more open to hearing what it is and being more collaborative in your care, which is amazing. But a lot of them aren't still. So
Yes. Yes.
this is like
So,
$10
oh, beautiful. See,
on
that is not going to
Amazon.
break the bank, but it might
Nope.
save your sanity if
Right.
you're
And then I think
pregnant
on
or
Kindle, I have it for like
expecting.
a buck. I mean,
Yeah.
literally, it's like $1 on Kindle. Like, I'm
Yeah.
not even asking for a lot. I want to get the information out there.
Yes. It's important
That's the
information.
goal.
That
Yeah.
is so, what a beautiful offering. Thank you. Thank you for
Thank
that.
you.
Gosh, you just continue to amaze me and delight me, my friend. You do. God, you're just so freaking amazing.
That's my
Awesome.
self-published book on Amazon
Hell yeah.
Publishing.
You know, she did it.
Yeah,
She thought she could, so she did. Yeah.
I sure did. It's
Yes.
not the best formatting and everything, but you know what? The information is there.
There it
So if you
is.
want it, go get
Yes. Yes. Wonderful, Kelley. So again, everyone, this is a has been an absolute life changing episode with Ms. Kelley Jones, RN, and she's got all these other letters too.
I
I was
know. I have
like,
a lot of,
yeah, you
yeah,
got them on your book. I was like, dang, she got a lot of letters. Look at her.
yeah.
Yes, and RN/OB C-EFM. This is KDFMY, and just kidding. That's
Yeah.
not what it is. But
That means I am nationally certified in obstetrics and fetal monitoring. Yep.
ooh, yeah, look at you. I know you could set up your own thing. You really could. And I
Yeah.
could see you being a nursing coach for sure. So,
Hmm.
always be aware this could be some areas to look at, some things to get into
Yeah.
as well. All right, my dear. Thank you so much for being here,
Thank
for
you.
allowing me to have this time with you. I just
And
is
thank you for
manifesting.
choosing me.
Yeah, how could I not? Duh. Okay, dearest. Have a beautiful rest of your evening. And for those of you who are interested in knowing more about Kelley and how you can get in touch with her, whether it's in regards to her book, it is on Amazon, and that's Kelley Kelley Jones
EY.
Jones. Okay, and also Kelley, if you shoot me a link. to the book, then I can put that on this post. So that way people can just
Okay.
go ahead and do that. And also make sure you shoot me your link to, or you can actually put it in there, I think. Oh no, you can't edit the post. But yeah, I can edit the post. And you can also send me a link to your other business so that people can see what kind of supplements, what kind of herbs, what kind of vitamins, what kind of other things they can have help from you in order to ensure that their physical, mental, and emotional well-being are also being cared for, whether they are pregnant or not, because all of us can
Yep.
use a good foundation of, natural um, ways to enhance our health and boost our immune systems. And that's
Yes, ma'am.
all of what she's about. So if you're interested in
Yep.
knowing more of that and looking and seeing what some of those products would look like, I highly recommend it. And I will have a link for you as well as soon as this thing is done loading up and she shoots it to me. So that's all for us tonight, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you again, Kelley, my love. Mwah.
Thank
Oh,
you.
it's such a
Mwah.
blessing to know you. God, just really lighten up my life. All right, my dear. Have a
All
beautiful
right.
night. Everyone else, have a wonderful night as well, and we will see you soon. Bye for now.
Bye.